We're in the middle of June 2022 and the real estate market has not crashed yet. The media is trying to portray that the real estate market is going to be crashing, and who knows, maybe it'll happen, but stay tuned. Let's see what happens. But as of today, the inventory is increasing, the rates are increasing, and there is a slight shift in the market, but yet we are still at a record high in regards to sales prices. So today, we're going to go over all that and what this means for you, so stay tuned. What's going on? Tane the Digital Realtor here, aka The Handler, aka your favorite Hampton Roads Realtor. And today, we're going to be going over May 2022 real estate market update. And it's quite an interesting one because there's a lot of stuff going on. So stay tuned. But before we dive into this information, if you could, please hit the thumbs up button if my audio and as well the camera quality and lighting is good, so it lets me know I'm doing a decent job there. And as well, if you find this information valuable and you want to see more, hit the subscribe button as well. Feel free to share it because it lets YouTube know that I'm doing a decent job and you find this information valuable. I do this for absolutely free, just to provide value to you homeowners over here in Hampton Roads or either possible home buyers. So thank you, that would be greatly appreciated. And most importantly, comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts, what your opinion is in regards to what's going to happen with the market. And as well, if you have any questions that I could possibly help answer. All right, but let's dive into this and it's going to be a good one. So this is all data from our local MLS, RAIN MLS, Real Estate Information Network. The one thing I want you guys to keep in mind as we start going over this data is this is just an overall snapshot of our Hampton Roads market. Depending on what area you're living within Hampton Roads, it's subjective to that to the data in that area. So just keep that in mind. So if you are interested in exactly what your home and your neighborhood might be looking like, please feel free to reach out. All right. So we've seen a couple of interesting things happen since the last time. As I mentioned in the last video, we saw an increase in rates, and we're starting to see a slight uptick in inventory as well. Yet we're still seeing an increase in sales prices because the overall inventory shortage is really far behind. And I think you'll come to find out in the near future exactly what's going to happen, because we've never really seen an inventory shortage like this before. The last times that we've had housing crisis was essentially when prices were down drastically because of how much inventory there was, right? So as of right now, what we've seen is, since our last market report, the MSI, the monthly supply of inventory, has increased to about 1.10 in May in comparison to 1.01 in April, right? And then in 0.88 in March, and then 0.78 in February. So we've been seeing that slight increase, right? The year over year, though, is still down from 1.25 in May 2021. So, and less than half of, the 2.4 recorded in May 2022. So this is the interesting part, because supply and demand is everything when it comes to real estate. And, we'll find out exactly what's going to happen in the near future, because a nationwide shortage, based on some data by other experts, they're saying that there is about a 1.5 to about 3.2 something million in housing shortage. That's a lot of houses. Even with them increasing the rates all that high, that's a lot of houses to catch up, just nationwide. All right. But here in Hampton Roads, the active inventory for May was 3,436. That's actually up about 7.8% month over month. All right. But as I mentioned before, we're still down drastically year over year. We're down about 10.38 year over year. All right. And the settled sales right now in May was 3,191. That's up from 13.4 in April, but down 5.5 from May 2021. So less settled sales in comparison to May 2021. Could it be because of the lack of inventory, right? And the pending sales was at 3,263, a 5% increase month over month, but an 8.8 decrease year over year. And our residential listing, new residential listing added in May totaled 3,723. That's down slightly from 3,889 added to the market in April. And the average days on market was 8 for the month of May. It's up 1 day from the 7 in April. All right. And the new construction is still down. New construction sold in May, in the MLS in May was 265, down 14.5% from 310 reported in May 2021. And this is some of the data. And one of the interesting thing about real estate, what we're seeing, the rates are now fluctuating in the 6 to about 7%, and sometimes I've seen it go up to 8, depending on the person's credit scores. For investors, it's really high right now. So I'm an investor, and I'm looking to buy some investment properties, and the rates on the investment properties for 15% down is insane. It's close to 9 at this point. So the cash flow is starting to get tight on some investment properties. And this is essentially, what others aren't seeing. So there's a couple of factors that happens when these rates increase, right? The people that we talk to on a daily basis as a realtor, back when the rates were in the 2s, we've had people that would literally move from one house to another that was literally within a couple of blocks distance just because they like the other house better, right? You don't have the privilege to do that now, because now if you want to do that, you're going to be trading your 2% something rate for a possible 6 to 8%, right? And then you also have the people that are second home buyers. They're starting to slow down on that. Even on the investment standpoint, it's making me second guess in regard, really making me double check my numbers before I make any commitments in regards to purchasing, because of the rate increase. And this is something that will take a little time, but the interesting thing is me chatting with other agents in other markets, such as like the Seattle, Washington area, New York area. They are already just starting to see that market kind of transition to a buyer's market in certain areas. And same thing over in Hampton Roads, the submarkets are starting to shift already. But the overall gist of everything, the housing prices are still increasing, right? But it's really no longer the market where if you had a house that needed a ton of work, where you can just list it and still be able to get over asking with a bunch of offers, right? We're just starting to see it balance off a little, which is kind of nice, just given the fact that during the heat of the market, we ran into a ton of sellers that were interested in cashing out, but then they couldn't find anything to really move into, right? So if this starts happening, it'll allow those opportunities to happen again, but it's going to depend on what the rate's at that point in time too, right? So the real estate market is quite interesting right now. But yeah, right now it's still a seller's market in majority of the markets. It's, just starting to balance out a little bit, but still a seller's market. As you just saw in the data, the average days on market is up to 8 days instead of the 7 days, right? So, certain sellers are starting to freak out in certain submarkets because it's no longer selling within 7 days, it's taking 14 days, right? And this is where you need an expert to kind of guide you through it, because everything will be okay. As long as you price the home right, the condition's good, and the marketing's there, you'll be able to still get top dollar for the property. All right. But I hope you found this information valuable.
It's quite interesting right now in regards to the inventory, the rates, the sales prices, the demand, everything that's going on. Now is probably the most important time that you have an experienced agent or an experienced team such as myself with the Digital Realtor team to be able to guide you through this home selling or as well buying process, because in this market where it's shifting, you need to be able to determine if you're a seller, if you're pricing the property right, if you're leaving any money on the table, or if it makes any sense at all to even consider selling with all these recent changes. And as well, if you're a buyer, making sure that you're still not overpaying because you're working off of past data. And it's so important to make sure that you're making the right move. So most importantly, I'd be happy to buy and help you sell, but most importantly, let's chat to see if it makes any sense at all whatsoever for you to even consider buying and selling. Again, my name is Tane, the Digital Realtor with eXp Realty. If you found this information valuable and if you want to chat more, please reach out at the contact information below. And if you could, please like, subscribe, ring the notification bell if you found this information valuable, and comment down below on what your thoughts are.